Hello guys and welcome back to TNT Madness. Today we're going to be going over a very impressive and large Iron Golem farm that will make you millions of in-game cash within the hour that can fit hundreds of Iron Golem spawners in it. This tutorial is for those who are very rich on their faction server and want to use that money to make a whole lot more by making a massive Iron Golem farm that is efficient and very easy to build. However, if you want to make an Iron Golem farm that is more resource friendly but still very easy to build, then yesterday I made a tutorial on how to do one that can fit around 20 Iron Golem spawners yesterday. Furthermore, a disclaimer that both these farms may not be the best Iron Golem farms available, but they are definitely easy to build and simple, which is where I wanted to start. I'll be getting on to more advanced spawners farms at a later date. Also, I'm currently sick, so if I sound raspy, that is why, but I promised I would get this video out today. So I'll be going out over how every aspect of this farm works and doing an in-depth tutorial on how to build this, so let's begin. Onto the farm drop rates. I AFK'd for an hour in the center AFK area where on my world only 736 Iron Golem spawners out of the 1,250 were active, and out of this, with some rounding, I got 6,200 stacks of iron an hour, which correlates to around 400,000 iron an hour, and if your server sells iron ingots at $30, then that is $12 million an hour. That is a lot of iron and a lot of money to make. The only problem is that you need a large investment of 736 Iron Golem spawners and at least 1,600 or 25 stacks of hoppers. So how does this farm work? It may look like one giant behemoth of a farm, and it is. That's just because of how many Iron Golem spawners in here. However, the actual principles behind it and how to build it is actually very simple, and it's probably one of the simplest farms you can build, and is probably one of the most well-known farms you can build. However, if we go into some of the specifics here, when I was doing my testing, I used this area in the center, which is very important because when mobs spawn from spawners, it is based on a radius that is around from where you're standing. So when you're doing a farm this big, you want to do it from the center point of the farm, hence where I had this place. However, in my testing when I was doing this, there was this area where I have this green glass where this Iron Golem spawners weren't spawning, so as you can see, like those ones there that are flickering, they are not spawning any Iron Golem spawners from it because of the distance between you and those spawners in which they can spawn. Because of this, on some servers, you will not be able to reach those. However, on a few servers, they are extended a bit further, so Iron Golem spawners can spawn that far. So just keep that in mind. However, in my testing with this area without those spawners, there is only 750 Iron Golem spawners. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. So what each of these pillars are is a 16 high pillar of Iron Golem spawners, except for the ones that are around me and the ones below me, because that I think is the perfect height for this. I don't think you should need to go any higher because again that is one of the max limits for how low this can go, because there is also a radius below you as well. The reason there is a slab on top of each of these is because, like I said in my previous video, is that if you place an Iron Golem spawner up there, they cannot actually spawn in the glass above it, so therefore I just put a slab on instead. They can't spawn inside that gap, but it's just I have slabs on there anyway. It's a good practice. As far as these ones beside me go, I don't have Iron Golem spawners here, because if I did, then they would go ahead and spawn inside this area, which I do not want. And the other thing is I have two slabs on top of it, because if I didn't have this, then the Iron Golem spawners would not spawn on it. However, it's just something I like to have, and then I have, of course, just below me as well. So also, as you can see, that from this middle block here, there is a free block gap beside each of the spawners. This is because there is an area where it's free and 4 wide from the actual spawner where Iron Golems can spawn. So just as a general rule of thumb, it is good just to have it as a free blocks away from the actual spawner and where they can spawn, and this will give you the maximum amount of spawning potential from each spawner. And therefore, if you're playing on a regular server, you will get drastically good drop rates for this. So with all these spawners in this giant glass case, how do you actually farm them? Because you can't do the same thing that I did in the previous thing, because they'd all bottle up. So what we have here is our same sign thing, because if you don't know, Iron Golem spawners, they actually lose their items from the middle of their body and they burn from their top. Every single mob except withers and Iron Golem spawners are 2 blocks tall, so these are very unique mobs. In fact, these is the best and simplest killing system for the Iron Golems. And below that we've got hoppers, and we don't bother with any trays. They are just all hoppers going in one giant line all the way into our chest system. So all of these just go continuously all the way over here until they reach our area up here. We're actually above these two hoppers is our little daisy chain that goes round and round, so just in case you do have chests that fill up along here, they will still be able to fill themselves up. And then beneath them we also have 3 lines of hoppers, because when they're not going round and round, we just want the hoppers below it to take it, so each of these chests will fill relatively evenly, so that way you won't get any bottlenecks or any significant bottlenecks from these hoppers, and these can take them as fast as the Iron Golems can dish them out. As far as our storage system goes, it is just simply chests going to hoppers, going to chests, going to hoppers, going into chests, etc, etc, etc. There are a lot of details I'm glossing over here, but this is the basic principle. If you do have any questions about it, then ask me in the comments below. I'll be looking at it for the next 3 days after I release this video, answering any of them. And also, if you want to fiddle around with this yourself, then there will be a schematic of this exact model in the description and a world download. Just make sure if you are doing it in a world download that you are on a server, a local server that has Iron Golem spawners enabled, as they're not enabled on survival. So anyway, now let's get on to the tutorial. So now on to the tutorial. As you can see here, there are 2 different zones here. There is this emerald zone and then there is this regular zone. And for this tutorial we're just going to be building this main zone here, because this is just what I could get from my testing. The spawners that can spawn in here. However, in this zone you can fit 748 Iron Golem spawners. However, in this one you can fit 1,250, which is quite a big difference if you are wanting a much bigger farm. However, of course, I'm only going to be building this, and still 748 Iron Golem spawners is still a ridiculous amount anyway. So what this is inside the white zone is a 33 by 33 area, and outside on the emerald one is a 41 by 41 area. So you're going to need at least 4 chunks of land to build this, and of course a lot of height. So you're going to need to make sure that you have plenty of space inside your base to actually build this. This white zone here just represents inside the actual spawner. The Iron Golem outside just represents the actual wall of it. You can build it against the wall to make it actually 32 blocks wide on each side. And then if this area here is just our pole to tell us how tall it is, which is a total of 19 blocks from this very bottom one, that represents the roof. And if you count this as ground level, then it counts as actually a total of 23 blocks tall, and add 1 extra block for every storage block. So you're going to need 3 blocks below ground level here for your actual killing chamber, and then any extra area you're going to need for your spawning area, and then 19 above for actually placing your spawners in. This blue area represents where once you place it high enough you're going to have your AFK area, so you can either have it as a flat platform, or if you want to make it an AFK pool if your server kicks you after a certain period of time. So as far as resources go, you're going to need some solid blocks, and a lot of them I'd recommend having transparent blocks, because there's nothing cooler than seeing Iron Golems being killed in massive fashion. You're also going to need, of course, Iron Golem spawners. You can start off with 1 and then just work your way up to 750. But however, I would recommend that you start with at least a few, because once you make your investment of at least 25 stacks of hoppers, on most servers it is going to cost more than just iron and a chest. So I would recommend that you have, if you're going to build this farm, that you have enough Iron Golem spawners to do so. You're also going to need 961 signs for at least this. You're going to need a lava lake from the nether, because you're going to need a lot of lava for when you actually place in your killing area. You're also going to need a lot of chests and double chests for your actual storage area. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and build up our actual wall. You're just going to go ahead and build this up 19 high, and then fill in all the gaps around it. So what I have done is I of course built this up by 19 blocks, and while I was at it I just went ahead and built 3 blocks under it just for future when we actually get on to building the killing chamber. So I'd recommend that you do that. I haven't put a roof or a bottom on this yet, because the bottom is going to be hoppers, and I just want a way to get inside and out of this straight away. So what you're going to do is, the last thing you want to do is go ahead and place your spawners. However, if you are building this without all of your spawners, what you can do is go ahead and place 1 block up, and then this is where you can start placing your spawners. Or what I would do is place some sort of temporary block and then just a slab on top of it. so that way you know where to place them in the future. And if you're going to be doing some sort of water protection, then you can also do that as well. However, for now, because that's not the most important part, what I'd recommend that we could do is that we can go ahead and build our actual AFK chamber. So for the centerpiece for your AFK area, you can just have it build it on the top. However, for me, I prefer to have the giant panoramic view that you have when AFKing. So what I like to do is make an indent of 5 blocks inside it, and then you make your 5x5 area, and then what you want to do is place slabs on the outside just so the spawners don't actually spawn here. However, that may not be a worry at all. However, on most servers you are going to have an AFK system, so you're also going to need a way out, which for me, I'm just going to use ladders. You can have some fancy slime block launch system, however ladders are fine for me. Also, if you don't know the basic AFK system, or the most basic and smallest one, then this is how you build it for those people who are on the majority of the servers where you actually have to build this. So what I'm going to do is make an indent in the floor and place a fence post, and how this works is because this is 1 block higher and everything, if we go ahead and make a little place around it like so, and then have water flowing onto it, and then have a block that is 1 block higher and in front of it, and then we just stand on it like here, we are just going to AFK infinitely forever, because on the server this registers as movement. The other one you can do is the one where the water flows round and round and round. However, I just think this one is smaller and overall just a lot more elegant than the other one. However, we are not going to be using that for that. However, if when you are building it, you can do that instead. So once you build this area and laid out all your pillars, you can go ahead and start working on your killing system. However, I'd recommend that you have some scaffolding along here and not place any spawners in, because after we have our giant lava tray, it's going to be really annoying to navigate through here, and you don't want to die from lava if you don't have significant armor. So what you want to do here now is just make a giant hole in the floor. So we're going to be building this from the bottom up. So to start with, I'm just going to start off with the hoppers before we actually place any signs in, so you actually have a floor to build on. So what you want to do is go ahead and find your edge, and then go ahead and place a grid of blocks along here just so you can have hoppers facing into it. However, for the first bit, it is just going to be one giant long daisy chain. So what you want to do is have a hopper facing into each other, and then you want to go ahead and have it flowing all the way back so that the hoppers are flowing into each other until you get to the other side of your actual farm, as we should reach in just a second, as we have right now. Then go ahead and go to the side and go ahead and do this all over again. It's very simple, and most people will probably already know how to do this. And then once we get to here, we should see that the hopper at the end here will just flow back into that one, and this will be an infinite line. The next thing you want to do is just go ahead and place hoppers going all the way back to the end, and you want to do this for every single row. So that means you are going to use 25 stacks of hoppers just to build this row, or the whole entire row, but it will be worth it. So under that, you want to go ahead and place what will future be your chests. So you're going to be doing them anyway in chest and trap chest alternating, and then below that you're going to have hoppers facing into each other, and because we have a daisy chain so that they don't back up, we are going to have them going back in 3 lines like this, and then that will flow all into your chest, and then you just want to repeat this all the way along. So once you've spent a ridiculous amount of time placing in all your hoppers, it should look something like this. So now we can work on the next most annoying part, which is placing down all the signs. So if we go ahead and go back in here and go at just head height level, I've just realized I have placed this all 1 block too low, so let me fix that. So as I was saying, what you want to do now is at head height, go ahead and place a sign on each of the wall like here. You want to go ahead and go all the way to the end, and then the way you get this to keep going on the other side is you want to shift click the sign and go ahead and go all the way back to the other end. You essentially just want to go ahead and bring all these signs back to this end and do this left, and just fill up this whole area with signs. And then after you've done that, we can start on the lava. So after you've done that, your farm should look something like this with signs absolutely everywhere, and here comes the painful part, because what you're going to have to do is place in all the lava. So you can place it in all the corners, which I would recommend doing, placing it on each of the corners. However, from under here you cannot place the lava unless you are some parkour expert and can somehow jump on top of the signs. So what you're going to have to do is make some sort of scaffolding so you can go ahead and place down all the lava. However, the great thing about this is you don't have to actually place the lava in every single spot. However, I am going to, but it does mean that it's going to take a while and you have to still fill this whole thing so that you have at least a piece of lava blade showing on this level. So now once you have done this, you should have a lava floor looking like this. And if you don't know how to place the spawners in, all you have to do is go ahead and go 3 blocks out from here, or in this case 4, and then 3 blocks in from there, and this is where your spawner will be. And then for next spawner, you just want to go ahead and go 4 blocks in one direction and place it there, and then go ahead and keep doing that. And then that will be your column of 16. So at the top here, you're going to have a slab or a solid block, and then this will be your actual spawner, and then you want to go all the way down to the lava, except 1 block above it like so, and then this will be your actual place where you place all of your spawners. Is that 1 block above? Yeah, that's 1 block above. So this solid iron line will be where you place all of your Iron Golem spawners. So all I have to do now is make this a solid roof and then fill in all of this, and you will have yourself a working Iron Golem spawner farm. So once you're done and you haven't placed in your Iron Golem spawners, it will look something like this, with your main area looking something like this. However, once you're actually finished, your actual spawner farm should look something a lot more like this. So the only thing that we have left to do is actually to expand our chest area. So if we go ahead and come down here, it is very simple to actually expand it. If we go ahead and grab our double chest, all we have to do is do our alternating area of where we do our chest, place a hopper underneath it, and then do our double chest. What I'd recommend is placing all your chests down first and then doing your hoppers, and then rinsing and repeating until you get as low as you want, because this will just filter it through so that way you get all your iron and poppies in one chest. If you want to go one step further, you can go ahead and add a poppy and iron converter, so that way you can actually distinguish between the two, or you can go ahead and just make your own storage system that has a lot more chests into it or fits into your specific area. This is just a general rule of thumb and a very basic way to actually store all the items, and maybe even just a temporary way. So that's pretty much the end of this tutorial. I'm sorry that I sound super raspy and that this video is, in my opinion, been a little bit less informative than what I'd like it to be, just because I feel sick and I can't talk for very long because my throat already feels like it's dying. So anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys next time with TNT Madness.